Hello everybody, my name's Shawn, and here we're going to talk about the Aster Total. On my videos, what I pretty much do is I'll talk about pros and cons about a different unit, then we'll actually get into what's in the box, and then finally how to put it all together. The Aster Total is made by eLeaf. I do want to make one thing very clear on this video. I am speaking about the Aster Total. There are two different Aster versions. This is the Aster that we're looking at right here. This specific one that I'm talking about is an all-in-one unit. There is also another one out there where it does not have the top portion. You just put a tank on there and then it has a removable 18650 device. This is the Aster Total where actually everything is included into one. This is what the actual box looks like that you look at. Aster Total that we're looking at is made by eLeaf. eLeaf is one of the benchmark type companies these days. They've really done a great job of putting their name forth in the industry. They're right there with Joytech, of course, Kanger, Smoke, all of your other, kind of industry leaders that we're looking at. So first, let's go with pros of this particular unit. Number one, very easy unit to use. There's not a ton of bells and whistles, but it kind of has just enough that you're looking at. First thing is size. So size versus what it has on board is pretty good there. Ergonomically, very correct as far as putting it into your hand, where the fire button is. They've really thought everything through on this specific model here. So you'd pretty much have your thumb right there and you'd have your unit there. You notice that even in my hand, you almost don't even see it. So this really works for pretty much anybody as far as the size goes. It's kind of that in between of the road, but of course, because it's all in one, everything's really kind of compact in there. Now, this is larger than, some of your other eLeaf versions there. Like, let's say if you're looking at the iCare, much smaller unit there. But first thing that I like to identify is this, of course, is going to take 2 milliliter of liquid that it will take on board. But more importantly, you have a 1600 mAh battery. So a real heavy user, you might have a little bit of difficulty getting through the entire day, but just like pretty much all the units these days, they're all USB PTC, and what that stands for is pass-through charging, where you just plug in, it charges as you're actually using it, so that's kind of nice. But 1600 mAh is really good. This model that you're looking at does have the fire button. Some people do like that. Of course, it has the on-off, 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. It is a top fill design, which is fantastic. So that means all you do is you just unscrew this top portion, and that's where you put your liquid, and that's also where you're going to see your heating coil. On this one, it is a coil head that you look at. Of course, you do actually have your viewing window of your liquid itself, which is also very handy. So like I said, those are kind of the pros of this particular unit. Cons on this unit, and like I say, sometimes cons, for some people, it's a pro. Very simple unit. Okay, there's no onboard display settings. There's not all this other stuff. It is not a variable voltage model, but it runs a little bit higher on the wattage scale. Now, like we were saying, we're kind of talking your cons on this particular unit. You don't have that variable voltage, so you don't have that freedom and that control that a lot of other units will give you. This also is more of still what I like to call classic vaping. By the way, if any of this seems a little bit confusing, on our website, we also have the 5 keys of vaping. It explains a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about. So very quickly, MTL versus DL. MTL stands for mouth to lung, and that's how you inhale your vapor. DL stands for direct lung, how you inhale. This is more of like what we like to call the classic vape, which is referred to these days as MTL. And in the older days, what would happen is you would just inhale and inhale all the vapor in your mouth, and then you drop it down in your lungs. And that was done in the very beginning because the units just weren't that powerful. But as time went on, people got used to that style of vaping. I admit, these days I can do both type of vapings, but I kind of had to reteach myself for that direct lung that I'm talking about. So the MTL is more that classic type vaping. MTL, it's not real powerful, but this is by no means going to knock your socks off. If you're a lighter user, something of that nature, if you've been vaping for a while now and you like just any of those Ego series that you're looking at, clearizers, this is definitely a step up that we're looking at here. You're going to get a bit more flavor over some of those older clearizer models that you're looking at. But again, it is MTL. There is no direct lung. Direct lung is when a unit is so powerful, or you have the settings to such a powerful level, that you literally, as soon as you inhale, there's so much vapor and there's so much warm vapor that's coming on in that you literally just inhale it right down into your lungs. And that is a nice thing, and some people really like that style. It's all personal preference. You're going to find something you like eventually. Hopefully, we're helping you describe some of these different units, so before you even purchase one, you know what you're actually getting into. So the MTL can, or the Classic, can be a con for some people, but this guy really puts out a nice medium. I definitely would say more than what this iCare does. This one does put a little bit more out there. So you do have that. You're also very limited. You can't change out the different coils presently. There's only a 1.1 that's available. They may come out with some other different ones. Now, I know I keep on referencing this model that you're showing here. One of the things why I notice these as a family so much, and I don't know what we're going to see in the future of eLeaf on these products, this kind of subcategory, is both of these have the exact same coil in them. So when you're purchasing a coil for this one or this one, they work all interchangeably. So that is kind of nice. But as far as your cons go, it's a very simple unit. I mean, it does have the airflow control, all of the other nice things. So that kind of talks about this unit that we have here. The next step, kind of before we get it out of the box, is I want to make a reference. You're going to notice that this model is offered in black, and it's also offered in stainless steel. Now, this is how the black one comes, the way that you look at it. If you look on the box, there's your stainless steel one. Whether you're purchasing the stainless steel one or you're purchasing the black one, what's going to come within the box, and now we're going to get into that, these different, they listed on the box as leather. I'm going to go with leather-like, and it's these different stickers. Now, this is a white one, of course, and this is a brown one. So on this particular unit here, you can just go with the brown one if you like, and that kind of changes the entire texture or the visual of the unit, or you can actually go with the white one. And then, of course, you either have the black or you have the silver chassis that you're looking at. Now, with these, they're not made to be just swapped all the time, okay? On this one, it is a double coating there, so once you pull this one off, you kind of get your finger in there and pull this old one off, and then you put this other one on. Don't be looking to change them back and forth. Pick your color, put it on there, and you're done with it. Okay, so that's in the box that you have right there. Another thing that you do have is a USB PTC. At least with this one, you have quite a bit longer of a cord. A lot of these newer ones here, you're going to see a very short cord. Of course, it is a micro USB charge point. Now, the charge point on this model is located right here. You just put it in there, and you can charge it. This is USB PTC, which stands for pass-through charge. You can plug it in. You can use it while you're charging, so that is very nice. Your next thing that it actually comes with, of course, is your two coils. These are the small coils that I'm actually talking about. That comes into the box. They're both 1.1s. And finally, you do have the manual. Always read your manual, folks. You will pick up something even beyond these videos here. So now let's actually get into the model itself. So like I said, it's very easy to do. It's a top fill design. So all you simply do is you unscrew here. That's going to give you your shaft. Right here is where your coil goes, and then of course your liquid actually goes into there. So on this one right here, you can really kind of fill up quite a bit more on this model here, because this base isn't taking up that much more. I would start it at about half. Once you put it back together, you're going to see where you're actually at as far as your liquid. And as you keep on using it, you're going to get into the habit of how much liquid you can get in there without it actually overflowing on you. So now let's get into properly priming your coil. So here we have the coil for this specific unit here. I do have it out of the box. And you're going to notice the coil head, you have two ends. You have one end that is a flat end. So if you look right there, you're going to notice that it is just a flat base. Then the other side has an opening. Some of the coils are a lot easier where you can see where you can actually fill it in. But in this guy, because it's so small, it's hard to see, there is cotton wicking that is in there. Now, why priming is so important is if you just simply put this onto this shaft here, put the liquid into the unit, and then start vaping, burning out or damaging this coil are 100%. You want to prime your coil. If you don't give it time to absorb that liquid, what's going to happen is it's going to start burning that cotton until it's actually absorbed that liquid. During that time, you can have a lot of that cotton that's gone. You get a burnt harsh taste. Now you don't have as much cotton. Now you have leaking, where you actually have a little bit of liquid actually into the shaft there. So it really equates to a lot of bad things, and you always want to prime a coil when you have a brand new one. In this case, this is a brand new unit, so it's a new coil. You only do this when you have a new coil. So priming it is pretty easy. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to do 4 drops on this guy here, and I kind of used a liquid that everybody can see there. So on this one, some of the bigger ones, you can just put a bunch of drops right away. But even at there, I've already kind of topped it off. But if I just wait a minute, it's going to seep on down there. It already seeped. So I'll do another one, okay? So it's just that easy as far as priming your coil. Now it just screws on. Everything is clockwise, counterclockwise. So clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to loosen. So I've got that on there now. Next step that I'm actually going to take is I'm going to fill my tank on up there. And I did it to about half there. I don't know if you can see it in this particular unit. Now I'm going to put this on there. No overflow. That's a beautiful thing. Last step, whenever you prime, you put that liquid actually into the coil itself. Now, put down your unit, let it sit for 5 minutes. Okay, you want that time for it to actually absorb. While that is absorbing, I'll just go over really your last thing that you have right here, and that is, of course, your airflow control. So your airflow control is controlled on the very top here, and you just kind of turn it. I'm turning it right now. It's very, very easy as far as that goes. Now, on this one, you actually have dual shafts. So you have one of the airflow control there, and then one on the exact opposite. Some of them have little notches. On this one, it's more of just as a slide that you look at, and you just kind of open it or close it. Now, on this unit here, that's more just for your pull, how that sensation feels, kind of like how a cigarette, some people will use different types of cigarettes, filtered, non-filtered, small cigarettes, large cigarettes, all that. What this is meant to do is just kind of mimic what that pull type is. Now, in some of the big, more heavy-duty units, airflow control actually plays a lot more roles, but on this one, that's pretty much simply what it is. But this is, of course, the Aster Total. Hopefully, this has been useful for you. Really, I guess the last thing to say about this one, atypical of a lot of the other devices, when you plug it in, it is, of course, going to do a light that you have right there. Like I did say, you have the 5-click on, 5-click off. That's also industry standard. And, of course, we can't forget about your little LED lights. You do have the LED lights that does show that the unit is working. It'll also show when it's charging. All that good stuff's in the manual. And if you're ever lost, you can always reach out to us. Or, of course, we have most of the information right there on the website. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. My name's Shawn, and it was a pleasure talking to you today.